Okay, friends, good morning. I welcome you once again to the second day of the 5-day program on engineering optimization. Today, I will take two sessions and tomorrow one session on using MATLAB for optimization. So we have distributed this part in three sessions. Like first, we will have on introduction to MATLAB, then programming using MATLAB, and tomorrow optimization using MATLAB. But however, it will be a kind of mixed thing, right? Yeah, there is one more suggestion that send the PPTs. Of course, we will be sharing all the PPTs in our Google Classroom. So the Google Classroom code was given to you yesterday. Today I will again share it because till now I have not uploaded anything in the Google Classroom. Today in the evening we will upload the all the PPTs in the Google Classroom. The videos we will be uploading maybe by tomorrow. Okay. So now we will start with our session on using MATLAB for optimization. So during the three sessions, we will have introduction to MATLAB, then an overview of MATLAB commands and programming, and then optimization applications of MATLAB. This will be using the inbuilt functions of MATLAB as well as programming. So what is MATLAB? It is a programming platform designed specifically for engineers and scientists. MATLAB is a matrix-based computer programming language. In fact, the name MATLAB comes from Matrix Laboratory. MATLAB was is MATLAB presently is owned by a company MathWorks, and MathWorks was founded in 1984 by Cleve Moeller, Jack Little, and Steve Bangert in California. Professor Cleve Moeller was the person who wrote the initial code for MATLAB. At that time, they did not name it as MATLAB. The name was somewhat different because he wrote the code for his students. And later on, Jack Little, when he came across that code, he saw that there is a commercial application of this. So then Jack Little, along with Cleve Moeller and Steve Bangert, another colleague of Jack Little, they founded the company MathWorks in 84 and launched MATLAB. As of today, MATLAB has more than 4 million users worldwide. It is a commercial software, it's a paid software. Our institute also has a license to this software up to 2023, and we have a comprehensive license. So the faculty and students, they are using MATLAB. So as I told yesterday also, that those who have any version of MATLAB with them, they'll be able to practice whatever we are going to discuss in this program. And those who do not have MATLAB, they can log in, they can register first in MathWorks, and then they will be able to download a 30-day free trial version. But MATLAB is it's a heavy software, so do not download all the toolboxes. Just download MATLAB and optimization toolbox. Now you have 30 days trial version, so maybe when you get time after 3-4 days, you can also download some other toolboxes if you want. But I will be using only MATLAB and optimization toolbox in this program. Before we proceed further, let me just show it to you. So what you have to do is you have to go to in.mathworks.com, right? So the address is simple, IN for India, then .mathworks.com. And there you can here you can go to sign in. You will get a page, sign in to your MathWorks account or create a new one. So if you have already an account, it is fine. Otherwise, you can create a new one. It's written here, no account, create one. So when you click on create one, you will be you will just enter your email address, your location, and a little bit information about you, and then you will say create. Right? So after you create your account, you can log in and download a 30-day free trial version. Right. So that's how you can do it. And in case you are not able to do it for some reason or other, you can download Scilab. Scilab is an open source software. We will just show it how to do that also. So first of all, let us see the main features of MATLAB. The most important feature is that we can create, edit, and manipulate matrices directly. By directly, I mean that we do not have to write a code or write a program to create a matrix. So those of you who have experience in programming, or probably maybe in C language or in some other language, so they know that if we have to make a matrix or a array in C, we have to write a code for it. And but in MATLAB, matrix creation is straightforward, as I will be showing you shortly. Then it can also handle other type of numbers which are frequently encountered in engineering and science, like complex numbers. Similarly, infinity, that is some value divided by zero, is handled as infinity by MATLAB. So in a program, while processing the information, if somehow a value gets divided by zero, then the program will not crash as it will in other programming languages, but it will be handled as infinity. Similarly, if a division like 0 upon 0 occurs, then also the program will not crash, but that the result will be handled as not a number called as NaN. Plotting, which is very, very important in science and engineering, that is also very easy, very comprehensive, very powerful. Then symbolic variables. Symbolic variable mean like in any language we can say x is equal to 5. But in MATLAB, we can treat x without assigning it any value as a variable and then we can process it. For example, I can have something like x square and then I can take a derivative of it in MATLAB and MATLAB will give me the result 2x if I take a derivative with respect to x, of course. Programming is there both in text format and graphical format. We will be using programming only in text format, but Simulink, which is a tool in MATLAB, here we can do programming in graphical format, typically for the dynamic systems. So by here I mean dynamic systems in which the output varies with respect to time. We also have dynamic systems in optimization. So dynamics, any dynamic system is in which a variable changes with respect to some other variable or situation. However, in automation and control, the variable with respect to which the output is changes is time. Whereas in case of optimization, it can be something else also. Then interfaces for a variety of hardware. So MATLAB is in fact very widely used in R&D worldwide. like in automobile industry and in many other industries. So there, when you write a code, the code has to be transferred to a controller so that it can be tested. So for that purpose, MATLAB provides interfaces for a variety of hardware, different types of controllers for robots, for a general purpose controller, a number of various type of controllers. And in fact, it is the companies who produce those controllers that give us the interface facility for interfacing that hardware with MATLAB. Similarly, MATLAB has number of toolboxes for various fields. Like in our case, we will be using an optimization toolbox. So when you install MATLAB, if I do not install optimization toolbox, then I will not have access to the inbuilt functions of optimization. Although I can write my own code, which will be do the same thing as the inbuilt functions, but if something is available for ready use, then it is better to use it. You can write code unless and until that function does not provide you the type of processing that you require. So MATLAB has presently nearly 85 toolboxes, like some of them are optimization toolbox, partial differentiation toolbox, signal processing toolbox, image processing toolbox, machine learning, neural networks, fuzzy logic, control, like that. Now, as MATLAB is a commercial software, so it has competitors also. Like two main competitors I have listed here, Maple and Mathematica. Some open source alternatives of MATLAB are Scilab, GNU Octave, FreeMat, SageMath. But Scilab and GNU Octave both are very popular. But I have had some exposure to Scilab only. I also didn't pursue Scilab for the simple reason that our institute has a license of MATLAB. But you can always try Scilab. It's a good software. Now we will become familiar with the MATLAB layout and commands. And then we will make use of those commands to do to solve some optimization problems. Programming we will become familiar with in our session at 11:45. So now I will go to MATLAB. So I already have MATLAB opened in my computer. So as you are able to see on the screen, MATLAB software's interface has a number of windows. Like any other software, it has a ribbon in which there are different tools available. Then the windows are, foremost is the command window, where you have a command prompt where we can issue the commands. The next window is this which I have selected now. It is the workspace window. So whatever variables we create in the command window, they will appear here, their name, their value, their size, and in bytes it will appear here. And then there is a current folder window in which the folders, subfolders, or files stored in that folder are listed. So which is the current folder? Now this is the address bar. So here you can see the current folder is MATLAB under documents. So this laptop is my system's name, users, this. That is a complete path. We can change this path also. However, when you install MATLAB, it is stored in the root directory of C in program files, but it will create a directory with the name MATLAB under documents or my documents. So where by default, it will save all your program that you make. So always keep this folder as the current folder here so that the programs or the any functions that you make, they do not get mixed up with the inbuilt programs of MATLAB. Now, how do we start with the using MATLAB? So the first thing we will discuss is that how to create a variable. Now let us say we create a variable a is equal to 3. That is a command we have given, and then we press enter. So the variable a has been created, and you can see in the workspace window variable a, its value, its size, and the number of bytes allocated to it are shown here. So for the time being, please don't pay attention to size and bytes. Just see that the variable name and the value. Let us create another variable b is equal to 5. And this time I am putting a semicolon at the end of the command. Now I press enter. The effect is same. In the workspace window, the variable b is created and its value is also shown. However, in the command window, the command will not be echoed or it will not be repeated. Right? So if you do not put a semicolon, MATLAB will repeat the command or echo the command. But if you put a semicolon, MATLAB will not echo the command. Now let us give another command. C is equal to A plus B. I will not put a semicolon at the end. So what we get is C is equal to 8. So a basic processing has taken place. Now, while I am using MATLAB in this demo session, I have increased the font size. So my screen will probably become full early. So to clear the command window, I will use a command called CLC. And then I press enter and the command is window is cleared. However, in the workspace, the variables are not cleared. The variables will remain as such. There is a separate command to clear the variables in the workspace. Now let us create a vector. So how do we create vector? So please remember that I will be using only those commands or functions of MATLAB which are relevant to optimization, because all these things I'll be using in some when I solve the optimization problems using inbuilt functions or using the programming. So we now create a vector, say m is equal to, so you create a vector by starting with a square bracket, left square bracket, and then you give some values, for example 1, 3, 5, 7, and then square bracket closed. So I have created a vector which has the first four odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, and then we press enter and you see m is equal to 1, 3, 5, 7, and in the workspace also you can see m is created. Now I create another vector n, 2, 4, 6, 8. But there is a difference this time. Instead of comma, I have used a semicolon. Now when I press enter, see what is the change in the response. So what I have created now is a column vector. So when you use a comma between two values, the two values will appear in the same row. However, if you use a semicolon between the two values will appear in different rows. I'm going to clear the screen. I'll create another matrix P. So we say 1, comma 3, comma 5. Now we say semicolon 10, comma 11, comma 12. So now here we have used a mixture of comma and semicolon. Right? So because 1, 3 and 5 are separated by commas, they are in a same row. After 5 there is a semicolon. The value after the semicolon will appear in the next row, and since the 11, 12 are also separated by commas, they will also appear in the same row. 1, 3, 5, 10, 11, 12. So we have created a 2 by 3 matrix. Let us create some matrix which is say 3 by 2. Right? That is 3 rows and 2 columns. So I'll just use the first maybe 6 natural numbers. 1, comma 2. Now new row starts. 3, comma 4. Again semicolon, new row starts. 5, comma 6. And then we close the square bracket. So we have a 3 by 2 matrix. So we have just learned how to create matrices, row vectors, column vectors, and a two-dimensional matrix. Let us now, we'll again create a row vector, but in a slightly different manner. Say we have now we use f is equal to, I type here 1 1 colon 5. Now I'm used a colon, not a semicolon, but a colon. So see the effect. I create another one. Okay. So before I execute the second command, let us discuss the first command. So a colon basically means 2, TO2. So we say that create a vector from 1 to 5. So it says 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we are using two colons. So it is basically from 1 to 10, but with a step of 2. So what we will get is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So this is the first value, then first value plus delta, second value, then second value plus delta, third value plus delta, fourth value, fourth value plus delta, fifth value. Now fifth value plus delta will be 11, and since 11 is beyond 10, so 11 will not appear here. So G is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So we can also create vectors like this. That's a way how you do it. Because in many occasions we will be needing shortcut methods to, for example, if I need to have say first 100 natural numbers, I will not type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on up to 100. I will just say 1 colon 100, and that will be, it will be a, I have a vector of first 100 natural numbers. And if I want a delta, I can use this 2 colons. Let us create another one. H is equal to, so if I say 10 colon minus 2 colon 1. So what will happen now? We have given a delta which is negative. So the first value will be 10. The second value will be 10 minus 2, that is 8. Third will be 8 minus 2, that is 6, and so on and so forth. Right? So 10, 8, 6, 4, 2. So 2 minus 2 will be 0, which is beyond 1. So obviously the vector will be limited to 2. Now MATLAB also gives us uh, some other methods to create matrices. So what are those? There's a in the chat box which version I'm using. I'm using an older version, 2014, but you may even use very old version or very new version. Whatever you'll do in this course will be applicable to all the versions. So when we are manipulating, many a times we will need an identity matrix. That is, say if I want a 3 by 3 identity matrix, a 3 by 3 identity matrix will be 1, 0, 0, second row 0, 1, 0, third row 0, 0, 1. So one way is I create it. For example, I say E is equal to 1, 0, 0, then semicolon 0, comma 1, comma 0, then semicolon 0, comma 0, comma 1. So that creates an identity matrix. But it's a very common matrix which many times we'll be using. So there is a shortcut. We can just say I is a MATLAB command to create an identity matrix. And moreover, when you use a MATLAB inbuilt command, you will see context sensitive help appears. That syntax will appear there. So I just say 4. That means I'm going to create an identity matrix which is 4 by 4. Of course, it will be a square matrix. It will be a 4 by 4. So we don't have to type it. So similarly, I'm creating another matrix ZEROS for zeros. And I can say zeros 3. So I will have a matrix of all zeros. This we will also be using zeros command in our examples. We can also have zeros like this 3 comma 2. That means 3 rows 2 columns, 3 rows 2 columns, 3 rows 2 columns. So I can have a vector of zeros by saying say 1 row 5 columns. So you will have a row vector of zeros, or you can have a column vector of zeros by saying 5 rows and 1 column, right? So zeros is there, ones is there. You can create a matrix of ones. Because many a times we will need to pre-create a matrix, so we will normally use zeros. So I'm going to clear the command window. Now let us see how to edit the matrices. Now for editing matrices, I have to create some matrices as a demo. Before that, let us do one thing. Let us learn how to clear the variables in the workspace, right? So you can see if I say clear, all the variables in the workspace will be cleared. Right? So we can also selectively clear the variables, but that I will show you later on. So clear will clear all the variables in the workspace. Remember, CLC is the command to clear the command window, and clear is the command to clear the variables in the workspace. We had created a number of variables A, B, C, P, Q, M, N. So now they are no longer available in the computer memory. So like we have just created a matrix K, identity matrix. But now if I type K, I will get an error message, undefined function or variable K. But if I have the variable K in the memory, and then I type only K, then its value will be displayed. Right? So we have, a variable or a function, whatever, it must exist in the memory before we can use it. So now I'm clearing the command window. Now I will create a matrix so that we can discuss how to edit it. Uh, okay. There are some chats in the question chat box that which version I'm using I've told already. Uh, Yeah, so see, if you download the latest version of MATLAB, it is a 64-bit software, right? So it will not run on 32-bit systems. So you need to have a 64-bit systems. That issue is of course there, right? But you can just write an email to MathWorks that I have this, I want to try this, what to do, right? So maybe they will help. If you write the email today, you will get the reply very quickly. I will also write an email to the MathWorks people after the sessions, then they will reply. Okay. Now to demonstrate the editing of matrices, I need a matrix. So I don't want to type a matrix. So there is a function in MATLAB called magic. It will just create a matrix. I use this function a lot in teaching. Like I create a matrix A, which we say magic 3. It will create a 3 by 3 matrix. So why MATLAB calls it magic is because the sum of all the elements in each row is same, which is also equal to sum of the elements in the each column. And you can also, even the diagonal is the same, right? Now let us see how does MATLAB uh, use the indexing. Now this value 8, it is at first row, first column. 7 is in second row, third column. Similarly, 9 is third row, second column. So row index will be used first and then the column index. So we have now matrix A. Let me clear the command window. So if I type A, because A is already existing, we will get A. However, if I do something like this, A, then we will get only 7. The reason is that now I am saying A matrix, second row, third column. So now I am pointing to a single value. So that value, which is 7, will be given to me as an answer. Now let us see, this thing is also to be taken note of. What is ANS? So ANS is a default variable that MATLAB uses when we have not provided any variable for getting the output. For example, if I say now x is equal to a 1 comma 3. So in the earlier command, I only typed a 2 comma 3. Now I have typed x is equal to a 1 comma 3. So now the output, which is the number 6 at first row, third column, that output will be stored in the variable x. But if I do not provide any variable here, MATLAB will provide the variable ANS every time I don't give any variable. So if I have given a, like already my ANS has a value 7 stored in it, but if I again give a command like a 3 comma 2, then ANS will be written overwritten with 9 because in the third row, second column, the value is 9. So that is our matrix which we are using. Now let us see how do we access a complete row or a complete column. If I say 2 comma colon, right? Now before comma is the row index, after comma is the column index. So when we say a 2 comma colon, we are saying second row all columns. So ANS is 3, 5, 7. Right? All the complete second row. Similarly, if I say a, now we are saying all rows third column. So we will have the basically the complete third column of matrix A. So this is our matrix A. The third column is 672. So all the rows and third column. So this is used to refer to all colon here. Right? Let me clear the command window. We have this matrix A with us. So if I want to access full third row, what I will do is I will say tr, let us say third row, a variable name for third row is equal to A third row and all columns. So tr has 4, 9 and 2. So that's how you can use it. So this is very useful. Why? Because many a times you have to delete a complete row or delete a complete column or add a complete row, add a complete column. So in that way, there we have to refer to the complete row or column. So let us now see how to delete a complete row. Sorry, before that, let us see how to change a value. Then we will come to deleting rows and columns. We know that a 2 comma 3 will give me 7. And if I say x is equal to a 2 comma 3, that means x will get the value 7. However, if I say a 2 comma 3 is equal to 20, now what will happen? That the value in the matrix A at second row and third column will be replaced with 20. You see here now, A has been changed. So that is how you can change a particular value in a matrix, because many a time it will happen, and you will see when I do the optimization problems, we would like to change some matrix. So in that case, we don't have to retype the matrix again, but we can change the individual values. So our last command was this: a 2 comma 3 is equal to 20. Now what if I say a2, what will happen? Now I am saying second row all columns. You see the complete row has been replaced with 20. Let me change the third row also, but in a slightly different fashion. Third row. Now I don't want to give the same value to all the elements in the third row, but I want to give them different values. So I can give that as a vector. I can say 100, 200, 300. But of course, the length of the row and the number of values must match. So let us look at these two commands once again. Here we have said a second row all columns, we gave a single value. So that single value replaced all the values in the second row. This time we said third row all columns, and then we gave distinct values, 3 distinct values, because there are 3 columns. So the 3 value will replace that matrix. Well, somebody is asked that should we select MATLAB and optimization toolbox only while downloading? Yes, because if you select all, uh, you will require a lot of bandwidth, right? So it may take you full day to do this. So select only two. Of course, if you have a good bandwidth available, for example, if you're an institute and you are using a a broadband connection of an institute which has a high bandwidth, there you can do it. But if you are at home, please you download only MATLAB and optimization toolbox. Okay. Because when we open any window, like the chat window I open or anything I open, it appears as a gray rectangle to the user. So I usually close it, but however, and then I open it intermittently. Let us clear the command window. Now we will learn another thing about indexing, which is also very, very important. I create a matrix B, I create a magic only same matrix which was earlier we had magic 3. Now we have learned that MATLAB refers to individual values with the row index and column index. But MATLAB can also refer to these individual elements in the matrix with a single index, not with two indices like row and column, but with a single index. For example, 8 is the first value, 3 is the second value, third value, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and ninth. So when MATLAB refers to the elements with a single index, it do so column wise. It will first go down, first column, second column, then third column. Like I said, B is comma 2 comma 3 will give me what? It will give me 7. Second row, third column. But B within bracket only 8 will also give me 7 because it is at the 8th position. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. Right? That will also give me 7. Okay. So Monica, can you hear me? Because the power just failed at my place and I have just
Yes,
switched
you are
it.
audible.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, we were discussing the indexing. So there are two methods of indexing. One is by row column. The second is with a single index. Because when you, if you will say try to find things on your own, and then you will come across these things. So I'm trying to tell you the least things which may be useful to you. Now let us see how to delete a column. So we have the matrix A with us. I want to delete the third row. The basic process is same, third row, all columns. But this we will set equal to a null vector. So when we set something is equal to null vector, it is basically deleted. So after I press enter, you will see the matrix A will be reduced to a 2 by 3 matrix. The third has been deleted. Similarly, if I want to delete the complete second column, I can say A, all rows, second column is equal to null vector or null matrix, whatever you say. And then I press enter. And you say now A has been reduced to a 2 by 2 matrix. The second column has been deleted. Monica, am I audible? Because the connection was just reset. Monica, am I audible or visible?
Yes, yes, sir, you are audible as well as visible.
Okay, okay, fine. Thank you.
No, sir, your picture is not visible, but you are audible.
Okay. I would I will just reconnect. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Monica, it is saying you are already joined actually. Can you, because I am not able to see on my, now it is okay. Is it visible? Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Reset. Okay. Okay. So that was because the power had failed and the problem occurred.
No, no, sir, your screen was visible previously also. Your video
Okay.
is not visible.
No, no, I have switched off my camera in any case.
Okay, okay, sir. Then it's working. You can continue.
Okay. Okay. So we were seeing how to we were discussing how to delete a row or a column. Like let us just do once more because we just had a break. So we will, if I want to delete the third column of my matrix B, we will say all rows and third column is equal to a null matrix. So this will delete the complete third column. Next, we will see how to add a row or a column to a matrix. But before we do that, let us learn something else also. Say we have a variable x which is equal to 5. Now, if I say x is equal to x plus 2, algebraically it is incorrect, but in computer it is correct. Why? Because in computers, when we give an equation, on the left side of the equation, there has to be only a single variable, nothing else. No scare, no multiplication, nothing, right? Only a single variable. And on the right hand side, you can have whatever you want. So when the uh, any program it encounters such a statement, it will just look on the right hand side. On the right hand side, there may be constants, as in this case, there is a variable x on the right hand side and a constant 2 also. So what the control will do is 2 of course is 2. It will look in the memory what is the value of the variable. If the variable's value is already existing in the memory, for example, in our case it is 5, then 5 plus 2, 7 will be computed and the result will be stored in the variable on the left hand side. So you can say the variable x now gets updated to 7 from 5. So this is slightly different from this. Right? Here we are creating a new variable y. We are not going to affect the value of x. After this operation, x will still remain 7. But if we say x is equal to x plus 3, then on the right hand side, the existing value of x will be taken, the processing will be done, and the result will be stored on the left hand side variable, which again is x. So x will be updated to 7 plus 3, 10 now. Similarly, the same thing applies to vectors also. Like I have a vector, say p, which contains first three natural numbers. So p is 1, 2, 3. Now if I say p is equal to p comma 4, so what that control will do, on the right hand side there is a variable. It will look for the value of this variable in memory. Now that value is a vector 1, 2, 3. So this 1, 2, 3 vector will be replaced here, and then comma 4, and the new value 4 will be added to it. So now our p will be updated to 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, we'll see another thing, how to add a row. Now after p I put a semicolon, and now I give some values, but those values I must I can, okay, I can just give a vector. They must be the same length. So I say 3 comma 5 comma 7 comma 9. So this we have done because p has a length of 4. So after semicolon, when we are adding a new row, it must also have the same length. So now P will become a 2 by 4 matrix. Now if I again say P is equal to P semicolon, so I give a new row, right? I say 10 comma 11 comma 12 comma 13. Now I am adding a row to this. Add a column to this, complete column to this. Here we saw how to add a value in a row. Right? Then we saw how to add a row. Now we will see how to add a column. So we will say P is equal to P. Now we will say comma. Now I'm going to add a column. This column length must be 3. Right? So I will put a column vector here, like I will say maybe 100 comma, sorry, semicolon 101 semicolon 10. So now look here. After P, I used a comma because we are going to add the values at the end of the rows. So we used a comma. But the values themselves are in the form of a column. So therefore, this vector that we mentioned as a column vector by using semicolons. So that's how you can add a column. Now, friends, we have done sufficient basic things about matrices. Let us see some usage of it. Let's go back to our presentation. So let us say I want to find the roots of a polynomial, which is cubical. So this polynomial can be of any degree, but I'm using as a cubical. So it is x cube plus 3x square plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. So how we'll do it in MATLAB is we will create a vector of coefficients. That is x cube coefficient is 1, 1 for that. Coefficient of x square is 3, 3 for that. Coefficient of x is 2, 2, and then the constant 1. We create a vector. And after that, we simply use a MATLAB function roots. We say x is equal to x, y, anything you can use this, just a variable name. Roots within brackets, the name of the vector. So it will give me the roots of this equation. Let us do it in MATLAB. So we create a vector 1, 3, 2, 1. Right? And then I say x is equal to roots of p. Right? I will get the roots. Now, when we have got here the roots, it's an interesting thing to see that one root was real, like the first one was minus 2.3247, because it says this is the imaginary part, iota. So imaginary part is 0. The first root is real, and second and third root are the is the pair of complex conjugate roots. Right? So as I said, that MATLAB can directly handle complex numbers. Like for example, if I had a simple equation like this, right? A very simple equation like this, x square plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. Then it has minus 1 and minus 2. Let us see. So then we will use a vector 1, 3, 2, and then we will say y is equal to roots of q. So the roots are minus 2 and minus 1. But here we have complex roots. Let us do it for one more example. Let us say we have an equation like this. X cube plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now here you will see what will be the vector of coefficients for x cube. The coefficient is 1. The next term should be x square, but x square is not there. So we have to take into account x square also. Its coefficient is 0. And then next is x. Its coefficient is 2. And then we have minus 3. So it is minus 3. So our coefficient vector will be 1, 0, 2, minus 3. You will take care of the sign also as well as of the missing term also. Let us find the roots of this equation. X cube plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. So remember the vector is 1, 0, 2, minus 3, because when I'm going to type here, this is going to disappear from here, right? So I say r is equal to 1, 0, 2, minus 3. Now I want to see the roots of this. Roots of, right? So we get there are two roots, minus 0.5 plus 1.6583 iota and its complex conjugate, and then there is a real root which is 1. Its imaginary part is 0. So this we have done. Now let us see the next example, that is the application of matrices. So solution to system of linear equations. So here I have written a very simple system involving only two variables and therefore two equations. So in MATLAB, what we will do, we will create two matrices. One is the coefficient matrix, that is 2, 3, 1, and 2. So 2, 3, 1, and 2. Second is the constants, right? 5 and 3. So it's a 2 by 2 matrix. This is a 2 by 1, or you can say a column vector. So after we do this, we will simply give a command m backslash n. So remember, this is not a division. All that is in MATLAB, it is called as left division operator, but it actually is not a division. This basically means inverse of m multiplied by n. So if I have to write it accurately, it means inverse of m multiplied by n. So that is what this operator means. That whichever matrix is on its left, it will take inverse of it and then multiply it with the matrix on the right. So that is what this is. Right? It's a shortcut way of writing the command, which is called a left division operator. So let us do this in MATLAB. Okay. Fine. So this annotation is still there. Let me remove it. Okay. So we create a matrix M, which is 2, 3, then a semicolon because we have to begin a new row. Also, you can just press enter also to indicate a new row. That will also do. Right? You see, it's again 2, 3, 1, 2. So you either put a semicolon or you press an enter key. But of course, putting semicolon is a better way because in programming you will put a semicolon only. And then n is 5 semicolon 3. Right? Then we will simply say r is equal to m backslash n. So we will get the result 1 and 1. It says that the result is 1 and 1. Right? Of course, 1 and 1 satisfy these two equations. So that is how you do it. So you can have a system of linear equation which is say 3 variables, 4 variables, 9 variables, 20 variables. Like you can solve that with a single command. Now, let us see one more example. That is of curve fitting. So say we have two variable, an independent variable x and a dependent variable y. So y is a function of x. X varies from 0 to 5 and the values of y they have been measured experimentally. Now we want to find the relation that how y is related to x. So what we can do is we can generate a plot. Like there are other ways also, but I'm just telling you the most basic way. We can generate a plot of y with respect to x. So this these markers that you see, that is the y with respect to x. And you can also see here I have simply taken y as the square of x. And after that, we can go to fitting. And here I have done two fittings. One is a linear fitting and the second is a quadratic fit. Right? And we can also get the regression model from this, that for the linear fit, the model is y is equal to 5x minus 3.3. And for the quadratic fit, the model is y is equal to 1 into x square plus 3.8 e minus 15. E minus 15 means 10 raised to the power minus 15. So which is 0 basically, into x minus 4.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 15, which is also again very close to 0. So quadratic fit practically means y is equal to x square. Let us see how do we do it in MATLAB. Now x we have taken from 0 to 5. So I will not type all the values. I will just say 0 colon 5. Right? Now the elements of y are the square of the elements of x. So I don't want to type them either. So how do it? Now x is a vector. If I write y is equal to x square, so x square will mean x into x. Now x is a 1 by 6 vector. So that will mean multiplying two matrices having dimensions of 1 by 6 and 1 by 6. But that is incorrect because here in matrix multiplication, the inner dimensions must match. Whereas here the inner dimensions are not matching. In fact, I don't want to multiply x with x. Let me give you will get an error here. Let me show you. So we're getting a error. It says inputs must be a scalar and a square matrix. That is, input can be either a scalar. Scalar means a single value or a square matrix. That is, if square matrix is there, it is fine. Then x square is okay. To compute element wise power, use this. Now it is giving me suggestion also. It says that you probably want to get y is equal to 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, and 25. So use this dot operator. It's called a dot operator. The exact name is element wise operator. So what does this mean? So now we have this caret sign is raised to the power, of course. Now we are saying element wise operator. We are telling MATLAB that this operation is to be applied on the elements of X and not on the matrix X. So now we will get 0, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25. So we have X and Y with us. Let me clear the command window and just display X and Y. Here X and Y. Now we will use the plot command. We'll say plot X comma Y. So we'll get a plot of X comma Y. Of course, we can give right here X, Y, all this. But here we want to fit it. So how do we fit it? So I will go to tools. In tools, the second last option is basic fitting. So we click on basic fitting and a new window appears here. Right? It's a basic fitting window, right? And also it says data one because you can have multiple plots on the same figure. It says data one. Now in the presentation I was showing you the markers here. So let me tell you how to get the markers also. So before fitting, let me show you how to get the markers. So there is a selection tool here. It's called edit plot. I can click on it. Now I can click on this data, right click, marker. By default, marker is none. I can say any type of marker you can try if you have MATLAB. So markers will appear here. So these are the data markers. Okay, now let us go back to our fitting. So we want to fit this. If you don't want the line also, before that, let us have only the data markers. I have removed the line, right? So we have only the data markers here for the different values. Now I want to fit it. So I will go to basic fitting. Data one is already there. So here we have check to display fits on figure. So what type of fit do you want? Obviously, the type of fit that you select will depend upon the number of data points that you have. So I choose linear. Right? So when I choose linear, you will see a straight line in red color appears here. These are the data markers. This legend is obstructing the view. So let me shift this legend also. to here. Okay. So our these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are our data markers. And this is the equation is not appearing here simply because we have not switched on the option. There is an option here, show equations. So I click on this and the equation appears y is equal to 5x minus 3.3. And if I want a quadratic fit, because it is a quadratic, so obviously it will fit it, I will click on the quadratic also. So now the quadratic fit is appearing as well as the quadratic model here is also appearing. Y is equal to x square plus 3.8 into 10 raised to the power minus 15x minus 4.6 into 10 raised to the power minus 15. So that is how we can do the basic fitting also. Why I'm saying basic fitting? Because MATLAB has a curve fitting toolbox where you can use that. But here our focus is optimization. So, okay, so friends, for this session, we will stop here. If there is any query, you can ask. I will open the chat box. So there is again explain last one. Okay, let me see. So there are two questions already. One is if a user types a wrong syntax, how does he come to know? Is there a test run or debug? Of course, when you are typing a program or even typing a command at the command prompt, if you type a wrong syntax, it will give you an error. It will indicate you that this is the error. And if you have typed something wrong in the program and you run the program, then also it will give you an error and also the line number where the error is occurring. And MATLAB also tries to tell you what is the type of the error. For example, when we were just here talking of y is equal to x square, it gave me a suggestion also that you use the element wise operator, the dot operator, element wise operator. Then there is another participant which says again explain last one. I hope last one means basic fitting or maybe element wise operator. So I will explain both. I'm going to clear the screen. So we already have a matrix say X. Okay, before we do this, let me give you another example. Say we have a matrix P, which is a 3 by 3. Right? And I have a matrix Q, which is 1, comma 1, semicolon, 2, comma 2, semicolon, 3, comma 3. But we cannot multiply Q with P. So I say R is equal to P multiplied by Q. So here the inner dimensions are matching. So the result will be a 3 by 2 matrix R. But if I try to multiply Q with P, since Q is a 3 by 2, P is a 3 by 3, I will get error message. Error using this inner matrix dimensions must agree. So MATLAB has shown us this error. Similarly, we had the matrix X or the vector X. So when I say X square, when I say Y is equal for raised to the power. So X square will basically means X into X. Since the inner dimensions are not matching, so it will get an error. However, if I say Y is equal to X, dot multiply by x. Now we are saying that multiply the elements of these two matrices and not the matrices. So when you multiply the elements, you will get the result. So that is the element wise operator. The second thing is plotting. So when we say plot x comma y, so it will give us a plot of, so first you will give the dependent variable which you want to plot along the abscissa. Oh, sorry, I think it's the way right. This is the, I think, abscissa, this is the ordinate, right? So we get a plot. So here is the plot. So now we'll go to basic fitting. So what we did that we selected this data. You go here. There's a button edit plot. Use click on the this because I want to remove the line and I just want the markers. So I go to markers. Choose a type of marker. You can choose a circle, a cross, a square, a diamond, whatever. And line style, I make it as none. So we have this data points. Now I go to basic fitting. I say linear fit. The linear fit is shown here, but the model is not shown. So I say show equations. The equation is also shown. And if I also choose quadratic, then the quadratic fit is shown and the model is shown. If I say cubic, that will also be done. If I say fourth degree, that will also be done. If I say fifth degree, it has been done. Sixth degree, now I get an error message because the degree of polynomial I am choosing is more than the number of data points. We have only 6 data points, whereas the polynomial is of 6 degrees, that is not possible, right? So it will show you linear, quadratic, cubic, fifth, sixth. Of course, yes, it has shown you, but it has given you a warning. Right? So that is what. So that is about the uh, basics of MATLAB, and we have just discussed how to use MATLAB for some day-to-day functions. Now I will stop here. If there are some more questions, you can put in the chat box. And then otherwise, there's a question about the use of this equation. Well, the simultaneous equations, you see, you come across so many in so many subjects or in so many you can say fields of engineering that you are using the simultaneous equations to find the variable values. Even we will be using these matrices and these equations when we use the optimization functions of MATLAB. So in the after our break at 11:45, we will discuss now some optimization examples and we will make use of a number of things that we have just discussed here. So if there is any query, any question, you can type in the chat box. So there are three queries. First is, could you please take the curve fitting again? Okay, we'll do it again after the break. Difference in MATLAB and Scilab commands. There are, you see, not much of a difference. Commands are similar. So whatever commands I have used here in MATLAB, if you will try them in Scilab, most of them will work. Otherwise, there's a lot of help also available, material also available on Scilab. So you can see there. Then there is a question, how can we learn to use MATLAB applicable for mechanical engineering optimization? That we are going to discuss in the next session and in tomorrow's session also. how to know which fit is good to our model? So that is upon the designer, right? When we are dealing with a problem, if we are fully conversant with the problem, then uh, the then only we can solve it. You see, when we're using MATLAB, MATLAB is basically a tool. It will, what it will do is it will do calculations for you. It will make things simpler for you. But at the design level, what type of function to be used for a given type of problem, that is upon the designer. For example, if you go through any optimization book or through the this uh, operation research book, so there are problems under different chapters like linear programming, dynamic programming, uh, uh, non-linear optimization, like that. So there the you have to refer to those books to see that under what category your problem is occurring, and for that category you have to use the appropriate functions.